Hello and welcome to CIS 4510. In this session, we will continue addressing project communications management. This session will discuss the importance of group and individual communication needs and how to communicate effectively whether conveying bad news or good news. Personal preferences and people personalities affect communication needs. For example, introverts like more private communications, while extroverts like to discuss things in public. Intuitive people like to understand the big picture, while sensing people need step-by-step details. Thinkers want to know the logic behind decisions, while feeling people want to know how something affects them personally. Judging people are driven to meet deadlines, while perceiving people need more help in developing and following plans. We need also to consider that rarely does the receiver interpret a message exactly as the sender intended. In addition, the geographic location and cultural background of the stakeholders will affect the complexity of project communications. For example, different working hours. Now remember that you are dealing in a global level with global communication, and a geographic location. You might be dealing with somebody in different country and they have different working hours. If you are in the morning here, they are in the afternoon or at night. So you need to consider that differences. Also, you need to consider the language barriers, understanding exactly what being said in the message. And we need also to understand the different cultural norms. What is considered normal in the US might not be considered normal in other countries. As a project manager, you need to set the stage for communicating bad news. You need to set and manage expectations beforehand if you can. You need to do a proper setup for the moment. Get to the point. Explain the background and give details. Be sitting down and be sensitive to your physical position relative to the other person. Separate yourself from the message. You need to deal with the technical matter as well as the emotional reaction to the bad news. Reframe the situation and offer alternatives. As the number of people involved increases, the complexity of communications increases because there are more communications. There will be more communication channels or pathways through which people can communicate. To determine the number of communication channels, we use the following formula. Number of communication channels will equal to the number of people that will be involved multiplied by the number of people that will be involved minus 1 divided by 2. This figure shows the impact of the number of people on communication channels and the calculations for those channels. As you can see, if we have 2 people, if you substitute the value of n with 2, then you will get 2 multiplied by 2 minus 1, which is 1. So that will be 2 over 2, and that is 1 communication channel. But if we have 4 people, then n will be equal to 4. Then 4 multiplied by 3 will equal to 12 divided by 2 will equal to 6 communication or communication channels that will be required. The purpose of the performance reporting is to keep stakeholders informed about how resources are being used to achieve project objectives. There are 3 common types of reports that can be used in performance reporting. There is the status reports, the progress reports, and the forecast reports. The status reports describe where the project stands at the specific point. Progress reports describe the project team has accomplished or what did they accomplish during a certain period of time. The forecast report predict future project status and progress based on past information and trends. Part of project communication is to understand and work with various stakeholders. Project managers need to devise a way to identify and resolve issues. Managers can include two important tools: the expectations management matrix and the issue log. This figure shows the expectation management matrix displaying the different major areas, their priority, expectations, and guidelines. And as you can see in the different major areas, we have the scope, time, cost, quality, customer satisfaction, and return on investment projections. You can add or subtract as you need. That will be based on the type of project that you are dealing with or the type of organization that you are working in. Some of them, they have templates and they will provide you with a template that you need to follow. But whether it's this one or any other customized one, you will have to convey the expectations and the guidelines on how to meet those expectations. This figure shows the issue log, which displays the description of the issue, its impact on the project, the date it was reported, the person reported the issue, and the person that will be assigned to resolve that issue, priority, due date, status, and comments about that issue. Again, this matrix could differ from one organization to another or from one project to another. Some of the suggestions to improve project communications is to manage stakeholders and project conflicts effectively, to develop better communication skills through training, to run effective meetings, to use email and other technologies effectively, and to use templates for project communications. Some of the recognized conflict handling methods are confrontation. You can directly face a conflict using a problem-solving approach, or you can compromise, use a give and take approach, or you can smooth, de-emphasize some areas that has differences and emphasize areas of agreement. Forcing, the win-lose approach, which is not recommended because some of the stakeholders will lose and they might not like that. The withdrawal, which is retreat or withdraw from an actual or potential disagreement. Conflict actually can be good. Conflict often produces important results such as new ideas, better alternatives, and motivation to work harder and more collaboratively. Group thinking, when the group think together, we call it group thinking or brainstorming. It's conformance to the values or ethical standards of a group. A group think can develop if there are no conflicting viewpoints. When you have lots of conflicting viewpoints, that might not help the group thinking approach. Research suggests that task-related conflict often improves team performance because we are discussing the task, how it can be done effectively. But emotional conflict often depresses team performance. To develop better communication skills, companies must pay attention to the importance of developing employee speaking, writing, and listening skills. As organizations become more global, they realize they must invest in ways to improve communication with people from different countries and different cultures. It takes leadership to improve such kind of communication. Project manager must learn how to run effective meetings, determine if a meeting can be avoided, define the purpose and intended outcome of that meeting, determine who should attend the meeting, provide an agenda to participants before the meeting, prepare handouts and visual aids, and make logistics or logistical agreements or arrangements ahead of time. Run the meeting professionally. Build relationships. Project team needs to use email, instant messaging, and collaborative tools effectively and professionally to convey the information needed. The project team and the project manager should make sure they are sending the information to the right people. When writing the message, the content should be clear, concise, and limited to one main subject. As a project manager, make sure to authorize the right people to share and edit the team project document. To capture some of the best practices in communications, you can find successful case studies or conduct surveys. In June 2006, the CIO magazine surveyed information technology executives on their best practices for managing innovation in business. When asked what technologies they plan to implement or leverage in the coming year, 54% of respondents reported handheld PCs or PDAs as the most important hardware. 56% cited web services as the most important software. 53% cited wireless technologies as the most important internet technology. All three of these technologies will help organizations improve communications by allowing workers to communicate anytime and anywhere. If a document was successful in communicating information to stakeholders, it can be used as a template. Providing templates for project communications saves time and money and assists technical people who might be afraid to ask for help. Organizations can develop their own templates, use some provided by outside organizations, or use samples from textbooks. As been stated before, research shows that companies that succeed in project management make effective use of templates. This slide shows an example of a template that has been used for project description. And as you can see, we have the headlines that shows what should be included in that description. The objective, the scope, the assumptions, the cost, schedule, and so on. So that will assist in developing the proper project description. This slide shows a template that is being used as a monthly progress report. The page in this slide shows the table of content for the final project document. And as you can see in the final document, you include more details that will cover lots of the activities, the tasks, and what's been done, what's been accomplished within that project, including financial information or audits or lessons learned and other information. That will be all for the session. If you have any questions, you can email, call, Skype, or come in person during office hours. Thank you and have a great day.